Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue. Are you impressed yet? Anyway, I just wanted to do a video on type 3s today. And I haven't been able to do any videos in a while because I've been sick. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I feel fantastic, but my voice is still trying to recover. It was like 2 weeks of just coughing and sneezing and that stuff. But anyway, I'm glad to be back at it, and I want to make a video about type 3s and what 3s might find difficult about being 3s. So we're talking about the achiever. And before we get started, just a reminder, in the description below is a link to my website, drtomlahue.com. Actually, it's just tomlahue.com. And you can book Enneagram coaching appointments for you or as a couple. I do a lot of marriage work. Once you know what your type is and your spouse's type or your girlfriend's type, or your boyfriend's type, or whoever you're with, your partner's type, then it really helps us understand how to have a better relationship. So reach out to me. I'd love to work with you. I have a lot of different options there and classes. So if you want to know more about the Enneagram and maybe be a life coach yourself, check it out. All right, so let's talk about type 3s. Nothing difficult here. I'm just looking at a list from this book, The Enneagram Made Easy. It's a great starter book if you're just new to this topic. And there's a little section here about what I like about being a 3, what I don't like about being a 3. So let's talk about these and just see where the conversation takes us. Okay, when we think about 3s, they're called the achievers, the performers, and these tend to be people that are very focused on accomplishing things. You might say efficiency, effectiveness. A lot of times, 3-wing 4s, it seems like kind of are around that INTJ sort of Myers-Briggs type, or the 16 personalities. And then a lot of 3-wing 2s seems like they're ENFJs. Now that may not be you. That's okay. It's not always 100%, but it's just that's kind of what I sort of picture in my mind. I've worked with a lot of 3s. I've got several 3s right now that I'm working with, and always trying to pull them back into themselves. Like, do you know who you are? Do you know what you value? You get on this treadmill of performing, but that's not the same thing as really being fulfilled in life. And as a type 7, we tend to be similar to 3s in that we're assertive types, but we're much more focused on living a life with passion, seizing every moment, trying to, be fulfilled. That sin of gluttony, is always kind of at work inside 7s. But for 3s, the sin, of course, is deceit, or the passion, if you don't like the word sin. Deceit, sometimes referred to as self-deceit, because 3s sometimes may not tell you everything that's going on because they want to look good. And they want to be seen as somebody who's competent and somebody who's effective. All right, so let's just look at the list. Why don't I just look at the list? Okay, so let's see where this conversation takes us. What do I like about being a 3? The first thing it says is being optimistic, friendly, and upbeat. And I would say that is mostly true of 3-wing 2s. You got that 2-wing of being outgoing, and warm, and caring about other people, and maybe finding it easy to relate to people, and caring, upbeat, positive, and optimistic. And 3s, you believe in yourself. You believe that you can affect change in the world. You believe that your life matters and what you're doing matters, and that you have the ability to wake up and make a difference in your life. Realize that not everybody thinks that way. Some people, life happens to them, or they think whatever you do doesn't really matter. It's just fate. And so you might be spinning some dials, but nothing really makes any real lasting change. And I think 3s tend to have an optimistic view of life and their ability to affect change in the world. So friendly and upbeat. And again, I would say that's mostly true of type 3-wing 2s. 3-wing 4s tend to be more introverted, but not always, but tend to be more introverted, more focused on tasks, more focused on maybe knowing themselves a little bit better, which is a beautiful thing. Think if you're a 3, you want to know yourself, and then you also want to care about improving the lives of others. So 4 and 2 are great wings for that person who's very driven to accomplish and achieve. Also got my water here because my voice is already kind of weird. Thanks for putting up with me. I appreciate it. Okay, number 2, it says providing well for my family. Yep. A lot of the threes that I know and work with, they tend to be very successful, quote unquote, successful in the typical ways we think about being successful. Having a great job, having a great career, having a great position, having a great salary. And why not? I mean, because you're always pushing yourself to the next level, and you could get a little bit weird if you can't see what the next step is in your career or the next step is in your future. And so threes tend to be very upwardly mobile people who are achieving and accomplishing, and that's going to get rewarded. And isn't that kind of the point? Is you're looking for this message reverbed back to you. That's not the right word. I went to college. You're looking for this message to, come back to you that you're important, you're significant, that you have value. And one of the ways to get that is by being very efficient, effective, and productive at work, which is going to give you a message in verbally and also maybe financially that your work is important and that it matters. And that's going to help you provide for your family. But yeah, hang on just a second, because I remember working with somebody who was very successful. They had a great career, and they were probably my age in their 50s. They were working while I was doing the appointment with them. They were literally still working. They couldn't turn it off. And it was late into the evening, and they're still at work. The office is dark, but their lights are on and they're still working. And I remember asking them, like, how fulfilled are you in life? And them saying like 60% fulfilled. And that's so interesting, that you can be so hardworking, so productive, so focused on tasks and accomplishing things and bettering yourself, self-improvement, physical fitness, all of these things, to be so focused on it, and yet never really feel very fulfilled or satisfied in life, because maybe there's whole areas of your life that you're not paying attention to: your spiritual life, your community life, maybe even your family life, hobbies and interests. And those things are important in life too, and we need some kind of attention to give to those things as well. All right, next it says being able to recover quickly from setbacks and to charge ahead to the next challenge. It's possible that threes could, under a lot of stress, prolonged stress, kind of go down that line to 9 and sort of give up and just kind of be physically present but no longer engaged. But it's much more likely that threes are going to be resilient, shake themselves, get the dust off, get up from the last, setback or obstacle, and get back in there, get back in the game, get back focused on the next challenge, the next task, overcoming the next obstacle. It's much more likely. And I think, here's a 3 saying, one of the things I like about myself is I'm pretty resilient. And when I get knocked down, it bothers me, but I always manage to climb my way back out of this and say, all right, what are my goals? What do we got to be doing? What do we need to be focused on? And let's get back at the challenge in front of us. So charging ahead to the next challenge. Assertive types. Right? There's 3 different stances on the Enneagram: withdrawn, 9, 5, and 4, compliant, 1, 2, and 6, and then assertive, 8, 7, and 3. And one of the ways to say that a person is assertive is they have an agenda and they're moving toward it. And the agenda comes from within. It's something that they've decided, that's important to me. I'm waking up, I'm going after it. Don't get in my way, because I will go against you. I'm future oriented. I'm an assertive type. Okay. All right, so next it says staying informed and knowing what's going on. You might laugh at that and be like, man, I don't know what's going on. But I would guess that a lot of threes probably do, keeping abreast of the dynamics, the political dynamics in your workplace. It doesn't mean like I don't think it means knowing what's going on in the world. You may, but I don't think it's about watching the news and current events, but about more like, what's going on in your career, what's going on in your workplace, how people are responding to you, whether, your tasks are getting done, what tasks need to get done next, and staying focused on overcoming and facing all of those challenges, and even the relational stuff, knowing what's going on in the dynamics of personal relations. You may not have time for that, but, you're going to probably know how to maneuver through and navigate through all of these things going on in your environment around you. And not only navigating, but let's face it, knowing how to play to it, right? Knowing how to perform through all of this in such a way that moves you through the challenges, setbacks, obstacles, in order to get to your goal. Because you are very goal driven. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Think of it like this. If you could relax a little bit the pressure to achieve and accomplish, and then share that message with the rest of us who aren't so goal oriented, you become, kind of a champion for the rest of us. Come on, Tom, you can get to the next level with a little bit of work, with a little bit of effort. See, you become that voice that like spurs the group on. And that's really I think that line to 6, when 3s integrate to 6, they start to join the team. They start to rally the team. They start to, motivate us to push ourselves to become more resilient. But, an unhealthy 3, you can't do that work because you've got to be the best. You've got to be the best. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to be the best. Why can't you just be really good at it? Think of how much easier life would be if you could relax just a little bit that pressure. Turn around, face that dragon, push it back a little bit, laugh at yourself and say, oh my goodness, there I go again, feeling like other people are going to catch up to me. Other people are going to overtake me. I'm not going to be seen as the best or as improving or as busy. What if you could relax that just a little bit? Can you feel the weight start to release? And then what would you focus on? You might have time to focus on relaxing, being present to life, enjoying your family, enjoying your day, just taking a simple walk, taking a simple bike ride, sitting down and just enjoying a movie without always constantly thinking you're at task. I gotta get that spreadsheet done. I gotta get those emails sent. I gotta get just that constant stress in your life. You could start to relax it a little bit as you realize I have worth and value regardless of what I accomplish. Good stuff, man. I love you guys. I'm not trying to hit on you because I don't like you. I'm trying to help you and help you to see some of the blind spots or dark spots, in the way you operate so that you can, well, look, I'm a 7. I want you to be happy. I want you to have the best life possible, to have healthy relationships, and to live life with passion, not just stuck on a treadmill of accomplishing stuff that at the end of the day, you don't really care about. All right. Okay. I sound a little bit like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, I sound like him today. Motivational speaker. By the way, you're going to hate me, but I think Tony Robbins is probably a 7. His tri-type is probably 713, which is called like Welcome to My TED Talk. But he looks like a 3 and he sounds like a 3, but I think he's really a 7 like me. But I'm not going to fight you about it because he's very 3. Like if he was to take a test, I bet he would score really high on 3. It's probably like his second one. I mean, 731 would probably be his tri-type, not 713, 731. Okay. But enough about Jody Robbins. Okay. Where are we at? Staying informed, knowing what's going on, being competent. Yeah, that's a good thing. 3s are one of the competency types. 3, 1, and 5. 3, 1, and 5. Notice every time you see these groupings, it's going to be 1 assertive type, 1 compliant type, and 1 withdrawn type. It's always going to work like that for whatever reasons, because there's order in the universe and the Enneagram is true and there's order in truth. And so 3s, 1s, 5s all have this competency thing. Like I want to be seen as somebody who's competent. I want to be seen as somebody who's informed, somebody who can get the job done, somebody who's industrious, not lazy, disciplined, focused, that kind of thing. It looks a little different with each of the types, but 3s are a competency type. And I want to be seen as able to get things done, to work efficiently, and I would say also effectively. Efficiently and effectively, which is going to make you frustrated with people who maybe aren't as efficiently minded. They're like, hey, we're having meetings and we're talking about what needs to be done. Should we have hot dogs or should we serve hamburgers? Let's have 4 meetings to decide. Some people, some types, they're not so focused on efficiency and effectiveness. They just feel like we went to work, we had meetings, we did our job. What's there to complain about? We collaborated. we're collaborating and we're very focused on everybody getting to have a say in it and everybody valuing each other's opinion. And if it takes 4 meetings, that's fine. And this might drive you and eights and probably some ones crazy because of that NTJ thing, INTJ, ENTJ, efficiency and effectiveness. Oh my goodness, let's quit talking about it. How many meetings do we have to have? Why is Mary crying? Let's just make decisions and get it done. Yeah. Okay. Next is being able to motivate people. 100%. Go on YouTube and type in like fearless motivation and listen to these recordings of this movie soundtrack music. And then it's got some guy talking like, you will never give up. You will always push yourself. You will be the lion. Do not be the sheep. It's all three stuff, man. If you want to know what your energy is, go to YouTube, type in fearless motivation, and then click on, the guy with the boxing gloves, whatever the image is, and then just listen to the movie soundtrack and hear that voice saying, you will never surrender. You will always fight. You will overcome your obstacles. It's so awesome. It's very motivational. If I go for a walk and I listen to that, now because I know the Enneagram, it kind of ruins it because I'm just like, this is just a three saying three stuff. That's all it is. It's just a three sharing their three motivation with the world. And it's a beautiful thing, and all of us need to hear it at times. But I think if you want to hear threeness personified, it's not eights. Eights aren't saying all that stuff. Eights don't need to wear a shirt that say that they're a lion. They already know they're a lion. They don't need to confirm it and they don't need to talk about it. Okay. But threes, just check it out. It's okay. It's all I'm saying. It's awesome. It's awesome stuff. I'm not trying to make light of it. It is very motivational. And I think when threes are healthy, they can motivate the rest of us to push ourselves, to quit making excuses and get out there and fight for it. Come on, Tom. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, because we all need that sometimes. I know I need that. This ADHD 7 stuff of being distracted all the time and having a hard time staying motivated, having a hard time disciplining myself. I could borrow so much good stuff from that 3 energy. I need it. Okay, what do I not like about being a 3? What's hard about being a 3? Tom, you have no idea what it's like. You have no idea what it's like for me. Okay, well, here's the list, right? And again, it's only like 6 things. It's not exhaustive. It's just meant to like give you an overview. We could probably talk all day about this, but let's just see what it says. It says, here's some hard things about being a 3. Having to put up with inefficiency and incompetence. Can you imagine, you get put in a position of leadership and then you get surrounded by a bunch of goofballs. What's that old saying? It's hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys, right? And so you're supposed to go make bricks, but you got no straw. You're supposed to go out there and accomplish all this stuff, and your management's looking down on you like, come on, rally your team. And then you look at your team and you're like, what a bunch of misfits. How am I supposed to get anything done with all this incompetence, all this ineffectiveness, all of these people who need their hand held so that they can be okay every day? I can see that can be challenging. Next is the fear of not being or not being seen as successful. So the fear of not being successful. And that's such an elusive thing. Like, how do you know when you're successful? When you have $10,000 in the bank? When you have $100,000 in the bank? When you have $1 million in the bank? When you have a job? When you have a job that pays so much? When you have how do you know am I successful? How do I know if I'm successful or not? When does the bell ring? Ding, Tom, you made it. You're successful. Oh, well, what's the feedback that lets me know that I can be confident and secure in that? Or even if you are successful, what if people don't see it? What if people don't know it? And sometimes when you meet a 3, they will start to drop information about themselves that nobody else would drop. They're like, well, Tom, it's really nice to meet you. And, when I was at Harvard and I was studying under Professor Linsky, And when I had my first job as a CEO with a Fortune 500 company, and I made my first $1 million. And it's kind of like they're just sort of dropping this information, like, I need you to know this. And I've talked to you for 10 minutes, and already I know you went to Harvard, you were CEO, and you made $1 million. I'm like, I don't get that when I talk to a 5 or a 9. No way, right? So people need to see me. You know what the never ever behavior is for a 3? Never ignore a 3. Hey, Dad, I just made varsity football. Wow, son, that's fantastic. I'm so proud of you. What does proud mean? I see you and I have this wonderful feeling of satisfaction because you have value, son. And if you don't help a 3 with that struggle, then you're going to see them double down and wear themselves out in order to get that message back that you're proud of them. You see them and that they're important and their life matters and they're making a difference. This is a real struggle. We don't live in the Garden of Eden. All of us want to know that our lives matter. And if you don't help a 3 know that, then they're going to double down and exhaust themselves trying to get that message back, or they're going to give up, line to 9, and they're going to just say, what's the point? What's the point in any of this? And they're going to go very dark, and they're going to just sit around eating fudge pops, and eating popcorn pizza and live in the basement playing video games. Okay, next. Comparing myself to people who do things better. This is very 3, like, it's very worth and value, like 2s, 3s, and 4s, constantly comparing yourself with other people. How do you know that you're better than anybody if you don't compare yourself? How do 4s know that they're special if they don't compare themselves with everybody else? And this constant comparing yourself with everybody else could be very exhausting and cause you to have conflict and controversy when there doesn't need to be any. Right. We're not from your perspective, you may feel like you're in a battle with everybody, not against them, but to overtake them. And realize that a lot of us do not feel that way at all. Like, your success doesn't say anything about me. If you were to tell me, Tom, I just made CEO of a major whatever, I'd be like, that's awesome for you, man. I celebrate that. So I don't then think, well, what's wrong with me? I just noticed that, right? That there are other people out there, other types out there, that your success, I don't feel like communicates really anything about me or my potential. Because I always feel like, yeah, if I wanted to focus all of my energy and effort on accomplishing that, I totally could too. But there's too many jet skis out there that need my attention. There's too many four-wheelers out there. There's too many concerts to go to. I don't have time for all that. Besides, what does it really give me? We're very proud of you. What does it really give me? It doesn't really give me anything that feels, anyway, you get it. Okay. So constantly comparing myself, which makes you become very competitive. What's the opposite of competitive? Well, I don't know if it's the opposite, but I think of collaborative. Like, we're all working together. We're all on a team together. That's line to 6. We're all on a team together. We're all working together, and I want to support everybody. That's very 9-ish. It's very 6-ish and very 2-ish. And notice, like, you're connected to all those numbers because you need a little bit more collaboration in the way you think and less competition. Next is struggling to hang on to my successes. My guess as a 3 is you just offload all your successes. You're so focused on accomplishing the next success that you don't really sit and enjoy all of the successes you have. In other words, you have success amnesia. If you were to sit down and write out a list, my wife did that the other day. She wrote down all of the things that Tom, you've done that make you successful. And she wrote 4 pages. She's a 2-wing 1. And she wrote down, she just was writing down, like, you did this, you did that, you did this, you graduated, And I think that would be maybe a very helpful exercise for 3s, is to, like, go back and feel once again the joy that comes from everything you've accomplished. You might minimize and diminish that because you're so focused on what's next and what needs to be accomplished. You might have success amnesia. Okay, next is putting on facades in order to impress people. That could get exhausting, right? Always trying to like play to the crowd, always wondering, how did I come across? Were they impressed? Did they notice me? Did I play well to that audience? Did I say something that maybe, offended them? Did I say something that maybe didn't put me in a good light with them? And you could really get up in your head and overthink everything to the point that you can't even be assertive anymore because you're so afraid of how people are perceiving you that you're constantly thinking about, how am I presenting myself? Instead of just being yourself. And that gets to a real good point here is, do you even know yourself? And look at that line, that wing four, right? Who knows themselves more than fours? And that's such a good wing for you to get away from the mask, the persona, the exterior, to get down deep into the core of who you really are and spend some time really getting to know yourself. And do you trust that people would love you for you? Do you trust that people would accept you for you, or only for the image of you that you are presenting? That's powerful stuff right there. That's like steak and beans. That's not salad. That's steak and beans. Okay, last thing is always being on. It's exhausting. It's gotta be. It's gotta be. To constantly feel the pressure that you've got to measure up, you got to level up, when you listen to that fearless motivation stuff, it's very exciting, it's very motivating, and if you're going to go do a workout or something, it really just gives you that kick in the rear end you need, but that's a lot of pressure to live under all the time. Wouldn't it be nice every once in a while to just turn on Jack Johnson or Jimmy Buffett or Kenny Chesney and just like, nope, now's time to just relax. Now's time to just enjoy the day. Now's time to just talk to family. Now's time to put all of that aside and to just be one of the gang and just to relax. Wouldn't that be great? You can do it. You absolutely can. The first thing we need is awareness. We need to be able to see it and say, there I go again, a three feeling all the stuff threes feel. I need to face that dragon, push it back a little bit, and learn to relax and learn that I'm enough the way I am. I don't have to accomplish anything to be important. You're already important. You already matter. You're created in the image of God, and you have value regardless of what you do. Everybody does. All right. I hope it's helpful. I enjoyed it. I like it. I find it fascinating. I wish I could share this information with everybody in the world. Share it with somebody. If you know somebody that's a 3, send the video to them. Help them out. All right. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Be present to life.